each and every one of you are here. This was a heavy lift by a lot of people, including each one of you here, and we're so happy that you're here to celebrate this occasion. It is literally 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears. And so what a great day to be here. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our statewide chief of Parks and Recreation, Ron Olson.
How you doing, everybody? Yeah, I'd just like to make a couple of comments. You know, sometimes people say, well, why do we do what we do? And this particular trail is part of a big system of outdoor recreation. And when you think about it, one of the things we always talk to the staff about is when you say, bottom line, about why we do this stuff and why we spend the money and the resources, and that's to provide people with an enrichment, and in the end it's lifelong memories. Because when you go ride down a trail like this, what you remember is what's important and the experience you have and all of that. And I think that that's kind of at the base of it. Obviously, this is an economic generator. We understand that, so we're part of the tourism industry of the state of Michigan. People come up here and spend money, they stay overnight and that sort of thing, and buy commodities. The other thing that I just wanted to mention too, that you might, about health and wellness. A lot of times, one of the things that somebody told me at a speaker said that the next pandemic is going to be mental illness. And because a lot of folks are stressed, and this is an opportunity for people to get away from things. If this is what you like to do, those of you that are ride all the time, it's a de-stressor, right? You can lose yourself and you can enjoy yourself and forget about some of the problems of the day. So, in a lot of times when we do the major projects like this, because Stacy's correct, this is a very complicated project. It's an 8-mile stretch and there's 102 culverts that were fixed and 171 sites that were done. It's a $10 million project, and it had federal, state money, and a lot of things layered into it, a lot of passion. And I would say it takes in this particular case, it takes the old thing, it takes a community to raise a child. Well, it takes a big community to raise a trail, and that's what this is kind of resurrecting this whole thing. And the last thing I just wanted to say is that, you know, we did have some couple of staff members. Matt Toriano from our staff spent a lot of time on this. Ron Yesney spent a lot of time on this. Michelle Crook, who is an engineering person that works on the staff, plus a lot of consultants, a lot of other staff and people that supported this, and obviously we had some political help from Representative Markkinen and the other McBroom, Senator McBroom, that have helped, and to help with the general fund, the American Recovery Funds, and then we applied for a Land and Water Conservation Fund, which is a federal match grant. So all that came together to make this work. So anyway, we appreciate everybody's support, and we'll so we'll send it back to Stacy to monitor.
Next is Ron Yesney, and he's our UP Trails section lead.
Yeah, hey, thanks for everybody for coming. Really appreciate the attendance here today. I think it shows highly how supported by the community this project was. I was just asked today to talk a little bit about thanks to some key people from the department that had been involved with the reconstruction. So there are some people that really poured their heart and souls into this reconstruction. And I know locally there are people that have worked hard too, but I was asked to recognize some key DNR staff. First off, I want to thank Matt Toriano. I know he's here today. He's been up here every week for the last 3 years, at least once a week, inspecting these construction projects, overseeing things, working one-on-one with the engineers, and he really deserves a big thank you for all the successes that he's happened. Secondly, Jeff K. Cook. Jeff K. Cook is a trail specialist. He worked on this project, handed a lot of it off to Matt and helped Matt along the way, and he's really been key. Third person I want to thank is here. His name's Pat Olson. He, interestingly enough, is the one that worked really hard to unravel the ownership on these old railroad grades on this hillside. So when this incident first happened, it was really difficult to figure out who owned what. There are just a myriad of old railroad grades on that hillside, and it took a ton of work and a ton of research to figure all that out. And if you see Pat here today, thank him for that. Ron mentioned Michelle Crook. Michelle Crook's an engineer out of Lansing. She made a lot of trips up here on nearly a weekly basis to help oversee the work that was going on, make suggestions, and make sure the work was done right. We also had Danielle Newman from DTMB. She worked really hard on this project several days a week. She was the one that was overseeing the day-to-day operations for our Department of Management and Budget. I want to thank a couple people for the FEMA reimbursements. Amy Mensch and Kelly Samaro, I think they're both here today, but they both have worked really hard to make sure that we could get as much reimbursement for FEMA, from FEMA, that we could. And that is a cumbersome project. Let me tell you, working with FEMA and doing the FEMA grants and the reimbursements, it's great to get that money back, but they make you work for it. So thank Amy and Kelly when you see them. The next person is Jackie Blodgett. I saw her earlier, but she really helped us find the funding and develop a formula and figure out how we could fund this thing and work through the process of pulling money from different funds and figuring out how exactly we were going to fund this. So thank Jackie if you see her. I'm running down the list now. Monica Weiss is here. She does a lot. She keeps minutes for every weekly Houghton County Trail Incident meeting, and she also keeps me in line. And that's a big job sometimes. And you know what? Monica helps a lot, because if something doesn't get done or something gets missed in the minutes, Monica is there to say, hey, this didn't get done, or she reminds me, and she keeps us going. Wanted to thank Ron Olson for being here and being supportive of this project from the top of our Parks and Recreation Division, and getting support from the top really made a difference to help make this project successful. And then lastly, Tim Novak, my supervisor, who has to listen, who's on every call, every week, very supportive of the work that Parks and Recreation and Trail Section does, and been very supportive of me as I've worked through this project with help from all the trail staff. So I was asked to thank the DNR staff, and I don't want to overlook the local community that worked hard, but there were some key DNR staff, and I may overlook some folks. If we go back to the incident in 2018, and I had to thank everybody that was involved, at that point we'd be here till 2 o'clock. So I'm not going to do that. But these are the key people that were involved in the last few years with the rebuilding process, and some key folks. So if you see those folks around, just give them a pat on the back, because that's, if it weren't for them, this wouldn't have been possible. So thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Next we have State Representative Greg Markkinen.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you all for being here today. It's been a long road. I tell you, it's been a long road. And people think that political things move fast in Lansing. Well, they don't. And a lot of people in Lansing said, what's the big deal about a trail? Why do we need to fix a trail? And I said, how much time do you have? We can sit down and talk about that. This trail is just incredible. I want to commend the DNR for their commitment to this project, and we finally get it done. Everyone's here today. It's just a very emotional moment. And I know so many people. One group that I want to mention is the construction crews that did this work. We got some phenomenal people. I don't know if there's anyone here that worked on this project with the construction, but it's incredible, and I encourage everybody to get out and take a look at the phenomenal work that they've done to make sure that we have access going north. It's so important to our economy, to our local businesses, to our groups, and to our communities as a whole. So thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks, Representative. Now we have Daryl St. John from Cleveland IATV Club.
Well, good morning, and thanks to everyone that took part in this project. Right from the beginning, there's a lot of talk about naturalizing the trail. ATV Club found that unacceptable. We were relentless in our pursuit of funding for this project. Couldn't do it by ourselves. We we got together a community coalition aided by the Portage Health Fund. We had the Tourism Council, we had the Chamber of Commerce, we had county commissioners. We went to Greg and McBroom. We went to the DNR, and as a team, we were able to convey the importance of the trail downstate. They went as far as to bring lawmakers up from downstate that we took out on the trails and showed them the damage and what we were facing. That made the huge difference. Eventually, they came up with the funding, and here we are today. We finally got our trail open. Thank you.
Thanks, Daryl. Now we have Ryan Laporte with Keweenaw Snowmobile Club.
Good morning. Thank you everybody for being here. I can't thank the ATV Club, Mike, Daryl, Kitty, Julie, all the work that they put in to really drive this on behalf of both clubs. They really spearheaded this project, coordinating with all the contractors, ensuring that work was done that was satisfactory for both ATV and snow. Got to have a solid surface for those groomers. It's a core piece of our business or of our economy up here in the winter. So can't thank everybody at the DNR that made this possible. Really looking forward to being able to get the groomers out on here. Was hoping maybe tomorrow, but I don't think Mother Nature's going to support that quite yet. So stay tuned for an opening date. And can't thank Hope Power Sports enough for helping to make sure we had equipment to go get the trail signed. They donated some side-by-sides to help us get that done. We had a ton of community support to come out and put in over 200 signs. They had to go back up from this washout. So without the community support of our business partners that are on our maps, that support the clubs year over year, we really couldn't make this system happen. And this was a key part of keeping our trail system open an additional 2 weeks. The trail going up 17 through Hancock just doesn't hold the snow as the sun starts to beat more in the spring for us. So this will really help prolong our season up here and keep the tourism going as late as we can into March. So thank you for everybody for supporting the region and how important it is to us. So thanks for making the trip up. Have a great rest of the day.
Okay, so in closing, let's dedicate this trail. And because each and every one of you, this is your community's trail, and each and every one of you contributed to that. So let's all come up and get behind this ribbon and dedicate the trail.
Over.